Hi guys, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I'm Katie, I am your crime and thriller girlie who is currently branching out, and in this video we're going to talk about some of the series that I would really recommend. So as I've just said, there is a bunch of series here. I'm going to talk about the first book in every series, what the series is about and how I generally found them. There is a mix of genres going on here as well, guys, so if you're not necessarily crime and thriller, then this is still the place for you. Starting with the non-thrillery stuff, I'm going to talk about the Boys of Tommen series, and the first book in the series is Binding 13. I will put the whole series up here. Now, I would recommend this series, but with caution. So these books are chunky. They are basically around the 700 page mark each, some going up to the 900 pages. However, I read this within 2 or 3 days purely because I was hooked. So this, originally the series starts with Shannon and Johnny, and this is YA. So bear that in mind when you're reading it. But these do come with some quite triggering topics, so please check your trigger warnings. The series currently has... is it 6 books now? So you have Binding and Keeping 13 that are like a story. This is it, guys. Like, the story's like 1500 pages each. Then you have Saving and Redeeming 6. Then you have Taming 7, and more recently Releasing 10. Now I will be open and honest and say I haven't actually read Releasing 10 yet, purely because I've been told to stay away from it as it can cause triggers. So that is the only reason why. However, I am very much looking forward to getting into that early next year. This is such a heart-wrenching series, and it tackles some such important subjects, I believe, and I really do recommend them. Like I said, go with caution, but this is your sign to read this series if you haven't already. On to dystopian now, and I want to talk to you about the Scythe series. This is a 3-book series, so it is a trilogy, and there is Gleanings, which is the 4th in the box set. However, it is just short stories, so not connected to the series. This is classed as dystopian fiction, and this is actually one of my favourite series of the year. So I was a bit reluctant to get into the series purely because it is not my genre. However, I saw so many people hyping it. I was so kindly gifted these by Books to Door that it felt fitting that I had to read the series. So this follows basically Scythes who go around and they do kill people. They themselves are basically immortal. They can live for years and years, but they can also be killed. But yeah, so they go around and glean people, and we come across like 2 characters in Scythe where they are apprentices, but only one of them can become a full Scythe, and we follow them. I did not expect to enjoy this or read this as quick as I did. They are really quick and easy reads. I do think that that Thunderhead is my favourite book, so that is book 2. So Scythe is book 1, Thunderhead is book 2, and The Toll is book 3. Book 3 wasn't as gripping for me, but I would still recommend it. It was still a 4.25. The series is really interesting and really like something different. If you're wanting to branch out into something different, I would definitely recommend you give this a try. Moving on now to thriller, but quite cosy thriller, and this series has my heart in so many ways, and that is The Maid by Nita Prose. So this is a 3-book series. So you have The Maid, you have, how have I forgotten already? The Mystery Guest and The Maid's Secret, and you also have a Christmas one in there too. But Molly the Maid is one of my favourite characters. I think about her constantly. So this follows Molly, who works at a hotel, and it doesn't explicitly say so, but I believe she's neurodivergent, and she's very particular. And yeah, when she discovers a body in a hotel room, immediately the blame goes to her. So you are kind of looking at what is going on with this, and to say the least, this had so much going on, and yeah, I can't begin to explain it. I actually opted to go to the rest of the series in audio, and it was the best thing I did because Molly's voice lives in my head. The series is phenomenal. I got The Maid's Secret as an arc, and I loved it, but I was also sad to see the end of the series. So I'm very intrigued to see what Nita Prose brings next, but if you want something cozy and that's very character driven, I would recommend this. I'm not a cozy girl, but this series is so well written, the characters are so lovable that you just absolutely have to pick it up. On to psychological thrillers now. This ain't gonna come as a surprise, guys, let's be honest. The Defence by Steve Kavanagh. So this is the Eddie Flynn series, and at present there are 9 books released. Book 10 is coming in July. I absolutely love this series with all my heart. Now, this is a lot more slow paced than books I've been reading recently. However, this particular book that I am holding is the beginning of the series, is book 1, and it follows Eddie Flynn as he is given an ultimatum: have me win in court or I will kill your daughter. So then this is like a bit of a time ticking one. Now, I originally did not read this series in order. I actually discovered 13 first. So the series is up next to me, hopefully, if I can get them all on the screen. Or there will be a picture of the box set. I have posted the order in my shorts if you are interested in this series. But this was absolutely astonishing. This series just has my heart. I wish I had read them in order, because obviously now I've read all of his books, I am reading them in order because I'm reading them as they release. And yeah, I cannot even begin to explain it, guys. It was such a series. The character development particularly, and I love talking to Steve Kavanagh about them. If you want something that is very like, not slow paced, it's medium paced, but if you want something that's different, I should mention that Eddie Flynn's actually a lawyer, ex-convict at that. Then yeah, I'd give these a try, guys. I cannot recommend them enough. You'll notice a theme arising here, but the next one is Eeny Meeny by MJ Arledge, and this is the D.I. Helen Grace series, and this is book 1, and I think there are currently 13 books in the series, with the 14 due to be released, I think, in July next year. So this follows two people who wake up in a swimming pool and they're given the ultimatum: the only way you are getting out alive is if you kill the other one. They have a decision to make. This continues throughout the book. This is twisty. Again, I believe these can be read as standalones. However, if you want the character development, absolutely read them in order. It is a long series, but as you can see, I own all of them bar the most current release because it's not out in paperback till December. But this series, honestly, I discovered these on a whim at the works, and it was the best thing I ever did because I found an author I absolutely adore. I only wish that he was more active on socials, because I would love to ask so many questions and just generally talk about his work. He doesn't really post on social media, so I don't really see much about his books, but yeah, this is a series you absolutely have to pick up. This series is cropping up quite a lot. In fact, a lot of these are cropping up. But the next one is the Major Crime series. So this is book 1, The Echo Man, and there are 4 books in the series. There is The Echo Man, The Puppet Master, oh sorry, I've missed the 20. So The Echo Man, The 20, The Puppet Master, and Countdown Killer. Countdown Killer actually released in April this year, and I absolutely loved it. I loved everything about this series. This was available on KU. I'd had a lot of people recommend it to me. So this one follows somebody who is going around killing people, and basically he is changing up how he kills every time, and he is recreating previous well-known serial killers. It is the Major Crime Unit's job to figure out what is going on. What you'll find in the series as well is that the last book definitely needs to be read last because it brings all the other books together. However, the Echo Man and the 20 are 2 different people, but they come together later on. So I feel like you can read the Echo Man and the 20 potentially out of order, but it does need to be read really in order. And this series, the whole of it, I don't think I rated it less than 4 stars. I've discovered Sam Holland has another name and is another author under another name, so I will be going to read her work next. But oh my goodness, what a series, and a strong recommend. And the last and probably most goriest series I'm going to talk about is the Robert Hunter series, and that is The Crucifix Killer by Chris Carter. So like I said, this is book 1 in the series. I don't actually know how many books are in the series. I don't actually currently own them all. They're definitely into the teens. So this particular one is book 1, but they all carry very different stories. I believe they can be read as standalones. However, at the end of One by One, there was actually a bit of character development, which wasn't mentioned in the next one, unfortunately. However, these are very unique books. They're short chaptered, quick and easy to read. Even some of these are at 500 pages, which for a thriller sounds a lot, but you don't feel like you're reading 500 pages of a book. So that being said, I would really strongly recommend this series if you want them. I've just done a slump busting video, which you'll be able to see. And yeah, this series has my heart in so many different ways. All of the books are really gruesome. The title tends to give it away, but like, for example, One by One follows a guy who rings up and gets the public to vote how they kill the person that's on the video, and he is live streaming the murder. It's dark. It is so dark. I cannot begin to explain. Yeah, I'm not going to say any more than that, but if you haven't already, this is your sign to like pick up this book. So guys, that is a quick fire of some of the books that I would recommend that are series, particularly thriller ones. There is the romance one in there. Let me know in the comments, what other series do I need to look into that are thriller based? I love a good detective series. Having only discovered Chris Carter this year, I'm just coming to realise detective series are definitely the one. I do have a new detective series on the radar, so I will bring you updates on that when I know. But yeah, for now, that is the series I recommend. Let me know in the comments what you would recommend, and as always, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all on the next video.